Hello, I'm Archie Luxury. How are you fuckers today? And I want to talk about 1980s fashion. That's right, the 80s, the fabulous 1980s. And this was a great time. It was when greed was good, and Beamers were in, Mercedes were in, affluenza, you know, the showing off wealth was cool. And Jesus Christ, I yearn for these 1980s. I was a kid of the 80s, and by the time I could afford to buy a few flashy things, it was all out of fucking fashion. Fuck!
At Dunhill, our philosophy is simple. Every item that bears the name Dunhill must be useful, it must work dependably, it must last, it must be beautiful, it must be the best of its kind.
Fuck you, Time Warp! I'm staying in the 80s. And what do you say? I don't know what you can say. It's just a sad fucking reflection on society. This is how it goes. It can be nasty. But some of the 80s fashion, and let's have a talk about that. Some of these beautiful clocks. How about the Cartier tank clock? Or the Cartier Santos clock? All this, the 80s. Man, I love the 80s. And it don't get no better in the 80s than a two-tone Rolex. Two-tone Rolex. Hey, Bubba. Hey, Bubba. The 80s. What a great time when greed was good. And, you know, just another thing that I love, the Cartier Panther. If you were a cool lounge lizard, right? If you were a cool lounge lizard, you had a satin white suit, you know, what's that material? You know, what the fuck's it called? It's like canvas. What's it? It's what the fuck's it called? Anyhow, you had a white suit with a Santos or a Panther on your wrist. And it didn't matter whether, well, the two-tone was always cooler. You were so cool. You were an international player. A Cartier Santos. Man, they were fucking expensive fucking things. They were dear. They were dear. And the Panther, the height of fashion, quartz. It's so reliable. It kept such good time, man. You were a swinger. You were a fucking cool fucker. And other 80s fashion, you know, it's just sad. These things are gone. The square briefcase, the rectangular briefcase. What happened to those? It's so sad. I used to love them. They were so cool. They were such a cool thing. And now they're gone. It's very, very sad. The 80s. Some of my Archie luxury goods, they're very much 80s. I love 80s sort of shit. And it's so cool. The 1980s, it was just so different from the 70s. So different. It was unique. You know, the 80s, man, we knew where we were going. We knew what we wanted, and we knew what we had to do. It's kind of... It takes me back a bit, you know, thinking about the 80s. What a great fucking time. Did you enjoy the 80s? I'm Archie Luxury. Tell me what you think of the 80s and 80s fashion. See you later, fuckers!